But
Yeah.
it was crazy because it was just me ripping tape off of a freight train, and it got 20 million views.
Really?
20 million.
20 million views just for ripping tape off a freight train. That's awesome.
And
Was it a bigger freight train than this?
yeah, it was like a regular size one, but it was like if you look at this, like you see where the numbers are, like you're not supposed to paint over the numbers,
right,
because the freight companies need those numbers
oh,
to identify the different trains and the different things. So what happens is, if you paint over them, they put a box, like paint out your stuff, and then they put the numbers back. So if you tape them and then take the tape off, you don't get that big box painted over your stuff.
so where do they still paint freight trains? The ones in Lambertville.
No, that's not even, I don't even think that's active line no more.
No, they
They tore those out.
Yeah, they took
That
them
that
out.
was passenger trains, but they were,
That was
I had
cool.
painted those a couple times. It was fun to just go tag those trains over there. But it's so weird because it was like there were so many people that wanted them. It was like, I don't know what the issue was. You know what I mean? You had people coming from all over to like go tag these abandoned trains in Lambertville.
I know, they were cool.
It was like a free draw, and you wouldn't have to do anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Why would you take that away? You know, then the people, when they're there, it's in the park. You know, they're gonna walk over there, get a pizza, or go get a coffee or something
we
like
went
that.
there all the time with the kids,
Oh,
and
I know.
I would run with my camera,
Uh-huh.
and I would run by the train, and they would wave to me like the train was moving.
That's funny.
But you would go in and you would just look at the graffiti and the tagging, as
Right,
you call
right,
it.
right.
And you were just like, wow, this is really cool. Like there's a story here. And then they took it away. I don't know
But you know
why.
what it is? It's like a lot of the towns, they have to control everything. Like they can't.
Yes, I know.
They can't have anything that's not controlled. So
Yeah. Yep, that's our government.
yeah. Just
And
in general, man. It's like that. Like
That is
that's
true.
one of the reasons why I love Trenton, is that there's a lot of stuff we could do that's kind of out the box, and you know, we're able to, you know, kind of be free as artists and stuff, you know.
No, Trenton really embraces, and I find like a lot of cities that, you know, need help regrow, you know, coming back to life, artists.
Right.
And you've tapped into that. So how old were you when you picked up your first spray can?
Man, shoot. I started drawing graffiti lettering and stuff when I was in first grade.
No way.
Yeah.
Did you even know what it was?
Yeah. Because it was in the 80s. So that's when all the movies came out and the different things. So it was like one of those. But yeah, it was crazy.
And then so you don't remember.
But when I first picked up, let me see. I think I was in 8th grade when I first caught tags. But I lived in San Jose, California.
Oh, okay.
So that was like 8th grade to my sophomore year. I caught tags. You know, that was my thing.
That was your thing.
That was my thing. We did that bus hopping. That was they called it.
No,
bus
was
hopping.
that like basically being a rebel when you're doing that?
Yeah,
At that
well,
time?
like just like bus hopping would be like, you know, you cut school and then you go steal markers and then you just ride on the bus. That was it.
That was it.
That was it.
Our childhood.
That was it.
I know.
That
It's
was
so
it.
funny now. Like kids
I
just
know.
don't even. Yeah, that was back in the day. Oh, we used to steal signs.
That was like in the 80s, you know, so it
Yeah.
was a long time ago.
That was back in
That was a
the
long time
80s.
ago.
I know.
I know.
I'm there with you. We used to do some crazy stuff, but we're talking about you, not me.
Right.
What I think is really cool, like you have some new videos coming out, and you're really inspiring artists to embrace this. And let's go back to being this kid who whatever, and you've turned this into a business and a respected business.
Okay.
So
Are we
Yeah, we've been talking.
Okay. That's funny because I was like, oh, are we filming it? But it's all good. Yeah,
You were telling a story, and I was gonna let you go.
Like being an artist and just taking something rebellious like graffiti art. It kind of like when I moved to Trenton, I started doing some murals, and I started, I went to Mercer County Community College, started studying design, and then the funny thing happened. I worked in a cafe downtown, and this lady came in that was a state worker, and she was like, oh, I know this graffiti artist. He's a big graffiti artist from New York. He lives in Philly, this and that. And I'm like, okay. But what happens is, as an artist, I don't know, especially being a graffiti artist, like we'll be out painting in whatever neighborhood or whatever, and there's always someone come up like, oh, my brother's a great artist, and then you look at it, I'm like, damn, your brother sucks. You know what I mean? Or just like not necessarily that they suck, but they're just not that great, right?
Right.
But so I sent this dude an email, and then I went and met him, and this dude was like amazing. Like he was like far beyond. He had already traveled the world doing graffiti art, and he was from New York, and he was well known. His name was Pose 2, and he became one of my mentors. And I met a lot of other artists, Sue and Joe Bass. They were like some of my mentors that when I first met in Philly. This was like in the early 2000s. And man, it just changed everything, because there's certain things. That's one of the reasons why I do classes now and teach classes now, is because there's certain things you can't pick up by looking at it. You could look at that train, you could look at the letters, you could look at the background, but there's much, there's color theory, there's dimension, there's a lot of different things that go into making that right. Yeah. That you can't just pick up like that, So it really helps to have somebody to show you, you know what I mean? So that's one of the reasons I keep teaching people too, is just because, someone taught me, and, it just helps, But by, steady doing this, the way that I do everything in a lot of ways is from a grassroots level. You start out small, you do one thing, you sell one painting. Then you do another body of work, you sell another painting, you do one mural. Yeah. Then you meet somebody else, you do another mural, and everything just built. A lot of my work, wasn't as great as it is now, but everything.
At the time, it was good.
Right. At the time, it was amazing to me. You know what I mean?
And you've evolved.
Yeah, it was one of those things where, different things have happened, and you learn things. I have a different skill set now than I did 25 years ago, or 20 years ago.
So then you went to Mercer Community College, but they didn't teach you this.
No.
So this is all just through. By the way, this is my train that I purchased through COVID. Isn't it cool? NJ Buzz, nice. Shout out. And I love it. In fact, it's my backdrop. But so this was from mentors and just practicing.
Right.
So you didn't have a teacher that you could take courses back then. Right. Whereas now someone could go take your class and learn these techniques. That's pretty cool.
Right, but you still have to practice on your own.
Well, yeah. It's like you still have to do homework.
It's just one of those things that, painting with spray paint and just it's like once you understand the basics, then there's a lot that you can do with it. But it's one of those things that's it's complicated hand-eye coordination, and it's different, huh?
In the wind.
Yeah. I mean, when you're painting, say, in a studio with acrylic, there's so much, you're not dealing with you're in the perfect environment to paint. You know what I mean? When you're out in the street, you could have had some bum take a crap next to you, or it could be anything.
Let me guess, that's happened.
Oh, absolutely. It's just one of those things. Like, you're dealing with different surfaces. You have wood here, you have metal here, you have concrete, you have whatever's on the concrete, or you have all these different surfaces, different textures. But that's what I love too. It's having these. It's not the same canvas all the time. Everything is different. it might be rainy or drizzly or hot, or it's like you have all the environment, and then I feel like you kind of have a different connection with a community also, because you're in the community, you're talking to people, or you're just like, kind of just vibing with the community. And it could go either way sometimes, you know what I mean? Because a lot of the neighborhoods we paint in are always the best neighborhoods, you know what I mean? But it's like a lot of the neighborhoods have embraced me, because it's like they realize that we're there beautifying, taking that wall that was a crappy gray wall and making it something that's beautiful and attractive and vibrant, and it's really one of those things that you have to be there. It's really like, that's one of the things that I like about graffiti and murals, is like that you're in that environment, and that you're it's like your journey is your destination. Like part of the painting the wall is actually painting the wall, and the stories, and the and a lot of times if it's not like a project, like if we're out painting on our own, we'll incorporate some of those ideas and concepts, or we might do a sketch of one of the people from the neighborhood, or we might,
it's cool.
Some kind of saying or something that relates to it.
So when people are creating these murals, do people respect and not tag on it, or do they cover it up?
For the most part, I mean, especially here in Trenton, we've been pretty fortunate where a lot of our work has been respected for a long time. Actually, over here, right behind here, we have, someone just posted it like last week. There was an Amy Winehouse piece that me and Casso did, and that was in 2011, and it's still there clean. And there was another piece that I did next to it that's on the train line on the building next to this one. That's when TerraCycle had owned, or didn't own it, but they were using that warehouse, and we painted those pieces 15 years ago, and they're still fresh. So a lot of it is what you're doing and who you're,
and the community respecting you
absolutely,
for what you're doing.
But
Amy Winehouse,
things happen,
she's awesome.
Right? Things happen, but it's like, I look at it, say if somebody, if it's a commission project, it's different,
Right.
If it's a commission project, what I try to do now is I try to have a contingency plan, or what do they call that? Like like a maintenance plan, you know what I mean? So like, say if you paid, there might be an extra $2,000 in a mural project, so that if anything happens down the road, if somebody tagged it, or things happen, the paint could get messed up, or something could happen 5 years down the road. You don't know that, but you have some money in that maintenance program that you can go and whatever, get a lift, fix it, touch it up. And but if it's our walls, like some of the walls that we do is like permission. So like some of these smaller bodegas, it might not be like where I'm doing something for the store, but I might just be doing like my own graffiti name with some characters and some background. And it's real. The good thing with that is it's usually very, like, you pretty much, I have carte blanche, creative freedom with that. But say if somebody tags that, then to me, I would just take that as an opportunity to redo the wall and do something different, and do, kind of do something refresh, because one of the things, like, I call it like recycling walls. It's like some people recycle plastic, I recycle walls. So, you have a wall, even if the mural is beautiful, after 5 or 10 years, you walk by that same mural, like, and then you walk around and it's something totally different. It has a whole nother impact.
Well, what made me think of that was your Jersey Fresh. Do you still have it at the same location?
Same location at the TerraCycle. We paint over those walls all the time, because we also do the classes there. So when we paint the classes, from now into the summer, we paint over a lot of those same walls like once a week. So it just depends.
If those walls
some of those walls have layers and layers of paint on them,
I know. So
it's just like one of those things that, you take your picture, and then the next week you try something different. It's especially important for people when they're first learning to try and do different things. And,
Right.
it's not like an endless, and especially, you did something not great. Obviously, when you first start out, your work isn't going to be as great as,
Right. Of course.
10 weeks
But
later or something.
that's how you become practice.
Right,
Makes
exactly.
perfect. This is great. Now you have some events coming up
Right.
that you do. You have your
Absolutely.
standard Jersey Fresh.
Yeah,
and
so
there's
the
something
Jersey
else going
Fresh
on.
this year is going to be August 16th. This is our 20th anniversary. The night before is going to be at Slam and Brew. Okay.
Oh, Slam and Brew, okay.
So at the Slam and Brew, we're going to do King 157, who's an artist from California, is going to come out, and he's going to do a character workshop demo on the side of the Slam and Brew. That's going to be, and then the week before on the 8th, we're going to do a screening of a graffiti movie that came out in the early 2000s, which is called The Art of Storytelling. One of my friends, Eulogy, he put out the film, and he's going to actually come and talk about the film. But we're going to screen that film. We're going to have an art show that goes along with it. So it's going to be a lot this year. TerraCycle's also working on commissioning some artists to do like redo some of the TerraCycle stuff that they have, like as far as like their one wall that's logos and stuff is a little bit kind of tore up, so they're going to try to get some artists to redo that as part of the jam. So it's going to be a great year this year.
So this is interesting because I've known you for so long.
Mm-hmm.
Like I just have watched your journey unfold. Mm-hmm. And didn't you have your graffiti at one point in a department store?
Okay, so I did live painting at Louis Vuitton.
Yes, Louis Vuitton.
And I did live painting at Bloomingdale's.
I remember.
So I did some of the different stores where I did some collaborations with different stores. That was a while ago though, but it was interesting.
I know, and because like you are, I don't want to say the beginning of tagging, but like you were, I want to say a pioneer of evolving it from a street thing to like an art thing, where it's like respected and people are paying you to go decorate the cities. It's great.
Right.
Mrs. G brought you to paint the pink refrigerators for breast cancer because it's just cool to see this. And you really were part of that growth. It's amazing to watch.
Yeah, I mean, I think over here in Trenton, it was like when I came here was at a really good time. We didn't really have a large graffiti scene at that time, so we were able to build everything from the ground up. So we were able to like kind of set standards and stuff. We were able to kind of go more towards the mural aspects of graffiti and having what we call productions, which is where we each do our own name, and then we have like a uniform, basically a mural with graffiti names on it.
Right.
So that's what we call productions. But we were able to do that all over the city, and then those were the murals that were here. And now obviously there's been some other murals that were like more traditional. Like Ilya Barger did the reading of the Declaration of Independence downtown.
Right.
There are certain ones that are a little bit more traditional, but we were able to kind of set that. But I'm going to claim that we kind of, the Art All Night theme this year is Trenaissance. And I feel like we were able to kind of start that Trenaissance where, we started doing these murals in these neighborhoods in the different areas of the city. And then things like Art All Night happened, and the punk rock flea market happened, Jersey Fresh happened.
Yeah.
Like those were things that wasn't here before. We didn't have that kind of art scene. Like a lot of the art scene kind of, we did, we had that studio in Hanover, and we did a lot of legendary murals, and we basically painted that whole area. And we were able to kind of have a lot of the arts coincide with what we were doing and build off what we were doing, whereas a lot of other cities would be like where the fine art people didn't really get down with the graffiti people, and
back then
people didn't work with different neighborhoods and communities. Like I've worked with the city of Trenton a lot. I've worked with all the different organizations. I've done murals with the students from Isles, and also from the city's Take It to the Streets program. So, there's a lot of, like, graffiti is, as an art form, is a very strong art form. So it's like you could either do positive with it or you could do negative with it. It's really whatever you want to do, and that's one own person's responsibility, and that's one own person's decision. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
but it impacts people. They look at it. It tells a story. It speaks to the younger crowd,
right, right.
And you're able to make some differences with the positive messaging. And you're a very positive person.
That's what I try to be. You
are. You got good vibes.
I try to put that out there in the world right now. There's so much negativity, and even if I feel negative and I have like some negative emotions, I still try to put out a positive messaging. And, in some ways, I feel like it makes me feel better. But then also, I feel like maybe somebody will walk by it and it'll make them feel better.
In fact, I'm going to read this.
Okay.
Because you said, my art is my voice, my protest, my agreement, whisper, shout, and cry. What message are you most passionate about conveying right now?
Right now, it's really positivity. I try to, like have a lot of my messaging and my art just to put out positive messages and just try to inspire the next generation, like how you're saying. Like, it's important to me, 'cause especially now, because there's so much uncertainty and negativity in the world.
Yeah.
That I feel like we just did a mural in Kensington 2 weeks ago. We did two of them. One, we did like a container. We're going to do a bunch of stuff in that area this summer. One of my friends lives in Kensington. He got a gallery called Vision Gallery down there. So we're doing a lot of projects with them, and they have a lot of community organizations that we're working with. But the first one said Kensington Cares, and it had flowers, and then it had like, I do these signature patterns. That's one of the things that really makes my artwork unique, is these patterns that I do. And you could really tell, if you look carefully, you'll be able to see like, oh, that's his. It got those patterns,
Yeah.
And then the other one we did said stay up. So that's, kind of positive, like, keep your head up type thing.
Yeah. So, I love it. So where can people find out more about your courses, upcoming events? You got social?
Yeah. I mean, on Facebook and Instagram, it's Aerosol Leon. With one L, AEROSOLEON, and then always leonrainbow.com. And I mean, I think a lot of different, like jerseyfreshjam.com is for the jam, and Jersey Graph, GRAF, for graffiti, short for graffiti. That's the one that has the classes. But if you look on my Instagram in my bio, I have a link tree. And it has all the links on. That's probably the easiest way.
Yeah. No, because, and definitely check out your social page.
Right.
You got some pretty inspirational stuff there. I love what you're doing. I love my train.
Right.
my COVID
Those are so
support.
fun. I haven't been able to do them.
Now because you're busy.
I know. It's been
that was
like,
a COVID project.
It was a COVID project. Like, it was crazy because with COVID, like, I just was like, oh man, I was so like, COVID actually wasn't, I hate to say it, in a lot of ways it was good for me. You know what I mean?
It's good for a lot of people.
Because I have to say that like, I mean, not having COVID, I had caught COVID twice. So that part wasn't good at all.
No, but it was a reflection.
I'm just glad that I was able to survive, and I was like, oh man, once I got it the first time, I was like, oh man, I'm going to die. You know what I mean? And then like, once I was all right, I was like, okay, luckily I was like, oh, my body's able to take it a little bit, you know what I mean? Because I have some pre-existing things.
Was it a time for you to reflect, to really understand where you wanted to go in life?
COVID changed me a lot, because what it really let me know, like, we're only here today. You know what I mean? And it let me know, like, I like my boss and I like my job, but I'm not going to be a slave to a job. You know what I mean? I'm not going to wait till I'm 65 to enjoy my life and retire. You know what I mean? I'm just trying to live today. I'm not trying to do all that wild stuff. When people say live today, I'm not trying to like go rob banks or do a bunch of drugs or anything. But at the same time, I'm trying to enjoy my life and my loved ones. Once I was able to travel, I was able to like, go see my grandmother for her 90th and her 80th birthdays
Yeah.
and stuff. And, just really take that time to realize like, love the people that you love, care about the people that, and really just take some time to enjoy your life. The people, if you were to quit or if you were to die, they would replace you within 2 weeks, right?
Oh yeah.
So it's like
Not even.
right. So it's like exactly not even right. So it's like in a lot of ways,
Well, anybody who is on their deathbed never said I should work more.
right.
I should have put in more hours. But anyway, so thank you so much for coming on.
Absolutely.
I just love watching you grow and continue to grow, and with your new phase of teaching, and even though you've been doing that for a while, but you're really putting some emphasis
Thank you. I
on there
appreciate that.
to change the world, to make it a better place. So again, thank you for tuning in. Please like, share, and comment on this awesome story about Leon Rainbow, because as you can see, supporting local artists is so important, because look at what he's giving back to the community. He's giving beauty, inspiration, and his words of positivity. So thank you.
I appreciate you.
And we're buzzing off until next time.